Everybody, this is DJ Fire from the Rock Asylum. Today I'm getting the distinct honor and privilege of initial interviewing with Eric Boatright from the band Shallow Side. Eric,
Yeah.
Eric, say hi to my asylum listeners.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Hello, I'm Eric.
Yeah, I'm also featuring this interview today. It'll be going in the magazine I write for. It is Bending Reality Mag. It's Bending Reality, bendingrealitymag.com. My first question for you, Eric, is why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself and the little band you guys call yourself Shallow Side?
So we're Southside, obviously. We're from North Alabama. We started the band in 2010, and initially starting off, we were, just a bunch of guys, well, just four of us, and we were just pretty much playing music, just finding an outlet as anyone else would at a young age, just trying to find and define ourselves as, adult people. And we found music. Well, music kind of found us. We started writing music, and we started having more and more friends come over and listen to the music, and we were partying and hanging out and having a good time. And rock and roll started creating a community for us that we understood could be a better life for us, for our future, for our friends, for more of the people that are around us. And it just kind of took off to a point where we had to make a decision whether we were going to continue to work our normal, you know, 7 to 5 jobs or 9 to 5 or whatever the hours were. uh, and we just took off, and we had to make a choice whether it was going to be that or tour, and literally left. And we haven't looked back since. And that was 2010, and we're on tour right now. As a matter of fact, my guys are loading in the venue as we speak right now.
Well, hi, fellas. Long time no speak. Can't wait to talk to you again soon.
Right?
Um, my next question about Shallow Side, why don't you tell me a little bit about the members other than yourself?
Uh, well, it's pretty easy. I don't have a lot to say about myself, but I could talk for days about those jerks. I'm just kidding, man. They're literally so, and I say this with a little bit of biased opinion, but a lot more objective uh, honesty. Because we've been around the block. We're not new at this. Been doing this for 5 years now. We're not brand new. We've been around the block. We've seen things. We've heard things. We've been around other bands. I've seen so many bands. I couldn't tell you how many bands that we've actually played with. Bands that are headlining festivals, all the way to bands that are literally starting on their first show tonight. You know what I mean? Like
Right?
from the beginning all the way to the end of a career. And I have some of the most talented people around me, and it's not just in music. It takes a lot of strength, it takes a lot of integrity, it takes a lot of will to do what we do on a daily basis, and to be able to do that flawlessly says a lot about a person's character. I have three of those guys around me. Seth, our guitar player, he's one of the most intriguing people you will meet. Uh, he's a little quirky, he's a little awkward, but sometimes in that same sense, that's a beautiful thing. You you don't want everyone to be the Fonz. You know what I mean? You gotta have someone that'll come in and make the conversation a little awkward so everyone can smile for the next hour or the next day.
True.
Make themselves feel better. And Seth really is that type of person. He will sit there and listen to you, talk to you as a person, and not to mention the guy is brilliant. Like he probably won't let you know it, but he has a really really high IQ, I wouldn't know what that is because he won't let me figure that out because I'm not that smart. So that's why I keep that guy around. He's a brilliant mind. Heath, on the other hand, that drunk guy,
Is that why
always
you're
a
the
beer
eye?
in his hand.
Is that why you're the eye candy of the group?
I, I don't know. Hey, those are some good-looking dudes, man. I can't lie. I can't lie. They're all good-looking dudes. He's the animal. Uh, he's a wild man. He's a wild card too. Like huge personality. He's a people person. He never meets a stranger. I've never seen him walk up to someone he didn't already know at some point. You know what I mean? He's
Mm-hmm.
one of those type of people who will make a friend out of the guy on the side of the road. And you always got to have that because rock and roll. I like to think of rock and roll as you need it every single day. You having a bad day, rock and roll is going to make it better. You having a good day, rock and roll is going to make it better. Rock and roll it's not just a piece of music. It's a lifestyle. Um, and he's he's our drummer, and he really is the type of person that would change a person's day, no matter if it's going good or if it's going bad. He's going to make it just that much better. He's all about that. And Cody, our bass player, man, he's the business. You know what I mean? You always got to have the guy who's shuffling the paperwork and making making the impromptu decisions on the future and how things are ran executively and making sure things stay in order and stay in line. You always got to have someone who's going to point the finger and create the job.
Right.
He's got to do that, and he's an outstanding member to have. You know, on any particular team, you would need one of those. Luckily for Cody, he's like 11 foot tall, so he makes up for two of those type of people. So it just works out, perfectly for us.
Right.
And then to put those guys together, they're literally like a superhero group, man. Like I couldn't ask for better friends, for better brothers, pieces of my family that'll stay with me forever. And then on top of that, I work with them. So
Well, there you go.
they're assholes.
Now, judging from my experience, before I ask my next question, when I met you guys a couple years ago here in Central PA up at Tubby's, I got that feel of down home, very down to earth, very non-complicated young men. And
That's the Alabama lifestyle right there.
well, it's the South in general. Any true Southerner
That's
would
true.
appreciate that. With my Southern roots, I understand that. Southern hospitality isn't taught. It's a learned thing, and if you don't learn it, then you're not true to your roots in that sense.
True.
And I, like I said, I got that vibe from y'all instantly when I met you. Down to earth, like you said. Seth is. I picked up on his quirkiness. I picked up on Heath's very moderate, modest, very hey, how you doing type of personality. I got that from Cody about talking to him about a little bit about the promotional side of your business and you yourself just being what would I don't like to use the phrase typical front man, but I'm going to say typical front man in the sense, hey, what you ask the good questions back. You challenge the fan in a good way, saying, "Hey, what about my band do you like, or what about our band stands out to you?" So it's like you interview a fan just to make you test them to make sure they're true, and I appreciate that as a
You got to. You really have to, at least from my particular standpoint on challenging fans. It's not something that I feel like a lot of people do or want to do. They really want to stand off and look and feel like the rock star. But man, that's not why I got into music. I got into music because I was challenged. Because someone along the way like put their finger in my face and asked me what it is I was wanting to do. Who are you? What are you doing? Are
mhm,
you in love? Are you trying to find love? Where is it coming from? Are you inspired? Where are you finding it? And all those answers, all those questions, I didn't have a single answer, and I set out for it. And that's where I'm at today. That's what we're doing now, being on tour, bringing rock and roll back to its roots, and challenging people to be better by themselves, to make better for the people that are around them.
Mhm.
That's why we started music, and that's still where we're at today.
One of my favorite songs of your band's is Stand Up. And just what you were saying about we were just talking about, that stand up and rise and just embrace life. Don't be afraid to take challenges and risks and full speed ahead. And if you believe your dreams enough to make them true, you'll make them happen, no matter what sacrifices you have to make. And that's another thing I just wanted to say, completely on the record, that I respect the hell out of you guys for. It's
Thank you, man.
You guys do
Thank
good stuff. Now, since you mentioned inspirations and influences, tell me a little bit about your influences as well as the band's influences.
The band really comes from we're the best way that I can explain it is we are American rock and roll. And when I say American, I influence that word really hard because we are a melting pot of musical influences. We have the southern roots of country, bluegrass, blues, southern rock, gospel. We have the northwest coast of the grunge rock era, the radio rock that came through. The Beach Boys had an influence. The all the way to Leonard Skinner had an influence. In the Midwest, Bob Seger, he had an influence. We literally are the guys in Godsmack had an influence. And they're from Boston. It's literally country wide is where our influences come from. And there's not a genre that we don't listen to, even hip hop and R&B, country, rock and roll. It doesn't matter, pop, all the same. That's where our influences really thrive from. Personally, the guys could and will give you a little more insight about that for all the listeners that are checking us out right now. Um, we'll do another interview soon when we can grab all the guys together, and we'll dig a little deeper into what really drives them. But for me, I date it back to being in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and I've been to a couple of concerts before, but this particular concert that we went to was a Shinedown, Save and Able, 10 years, and unknown on the bill, and even there wasn't even on the ticket, was Hailstorm. And Lizzie comes out on stage a cappella, her I'm in love with somebody, it's not you song, and just flies off the handle, man. It's incredible talent and, skillful lady, and blew the crowd away. She turns around, finishes the show, everybody's on their feet, rolls over, 10 years comes on stage. Jesse, again, incredible talent, singer, blew the crowd away. Saving Abel comes on stage as normal, and does an incredible job. They have so many wonderful songs, and then Shinedown comes on and plays, and it literally took me into a different realm of music. I'd never seen this before. I'd never witnessed it before. I was having, like, quote unquote spiritual moments, of music, like really grasping me and like yelling in my face, pointing in my face, saying, "What are you doing? Is this something you want to do? Because if it is, you're sitting on your hands right now. You're not doing nothing about it. So what are you gonna do?" So those were my moments. If I had to look at one guy and point my finger at him and say it's all your fault, I'd really, point the blame over at Brent Smith of Shinedown, and he's an incredible talent. I've yet to meet him. We've played some acoustic shows with Zach Myers from the band Shinedown, their guitar player. He's an incredible talent. Equally, wow, the guy plays the guitar and amazingly, and then well, a lot of instruments he plays amazingly, and then turn around, he's a great singer as well. So that's definitely on the bucket list. We'll be seeing those guys soon, I'm sure of.
So you're saying that Zach and Brent really inspired you to get off your hands and get to writing and get the pounding pavement, so to speak, and getting out there.
Yeah, they really did. They challenged me. They young good looking guys. They're out playing rock and roll music. They're writing incredible hits. They're playing in sold out arenas, and I was looking around like, man, I got to get here. I've got to get here. So, you know, uh, a little less than 5 years later, and we're uh, playing nationally all over America. So life's good.
I would love,
Life is good if you work hard enough for it.
right. And on a personal note, I would, if you guys make it to Duncannon again with another band, give me a heads up
Absolutely.
because
Yeah, absolutely.
when I saw you guys with Saving Abel, what was it, 2 years ago now? Maybe
Yeah.
2 years ago. Seeing you on stage with Scotty and the guys, it's like you fit so well. You guys blended with them guys so well. That show was just incredible. I mean,
They're thinking back on it now. They 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 played the show that I was at when I made the decision to do music. So and we've toured the country with them as well as 10 years. We've also toured the country with them. So uh, to reiterate, like you work hard enough, you'll see things open up for you tenfold.
and that's the
But
thing
yeah, of course, every time that we're around the area, we'll absolutely let you know.
because I was blown away. You have great stage presence. I will tell you that from what I observed. You have great stage presence. Your instrumentalists, Cody, Seth, Heath, all y'all have your own great way of presenting what you put to the band. Heath and his, I say it biasedly, sort of, because I've played drums, so of course I'm going to say
Okay.
the drummer's good, but I'm not just biased towards drummers. I'm saying all y'all were great in your own way, what you brought to the show. And then I remember Scotty saying when they took stage, "Where's my ginger? Where's my ginger?" I couldn't help but laugh. I couldn't help but laugh, but you two worked really well together when you sung.
Yeah, he's an awesome guy, and he'll challenge us every single night too to put on a good show. Saving Abel's that type of band. They're going to bring in 100%. Doesn't matter, you know, 5,000.
Right, and that was the first time I saw them in a small venue. I've seen them in a bigger venue, but it's not. I don't want to hype them up. This is about you and Shallow Side. I know you guys have two albums out now, and you told me a little while ago that something new's coming. Why don't you tell me a little bit about what I can expect from the new Shallow Side stuff?
So we have two previously recorded EPs that we done completely on our own and in studio with Starlight Studios, Evan Kaufman and Rockberry Hill. And then this time we took a little different turn and we went with a production team and production group called Oh No Octopus and over at Red 13 Media in Massachusetts. I
Okay,
don't know if I'm saying that right either. Massachusetts. I don't
close
know.
enough.
I kept
Close
messing
enough.
that up. States and places, they confuse me. Um, so we we took a turn and we went in the studio with a couple ideas and when we sat down and we wrote an entire album. So we have a single out right now called Rebel, and our full-length debut album will be out this fall. It's some of the best stuff that we've written today. We've evolved, musically
Hmm.
ourselves. We've learned, we've grew, we've, tested the boundaries of what we can do, what we shouldn't do, and we're really learning more about ourselves. We tell people all the time, we're lucky. We're very lucky. We're privileged to play music every single night.
Hmm.
But after we play the shows for the fans. That's why we do it. No one in their right mind just leaves home and never comes back. Uh, we play live shows for the fans, and we do it for them because music is an important part of everyone's life. But we write music for ourselves, and that's something that we did a lot more of off of this album. We wrote a lot of songs that were for us, songs that we fell in love with ourselves,
Hmm.
and then we turn around and lay them on paper. So we're so excited for people to hear these new songs and get the message behind them. So in turn, they can take them, own them themselves, and then it become their music. You know.
Right. Okay.
So some of the best stuff that Shadowside has put out to date will be on this new album. It'll be
Out,
out this fall. The
outstanding.
album is titled One.
Cool. Now, my next question, it's one of the toughest ones I ask all my indie and unsigned ones that I follow and support. If I were a major label executive, what would you say to convince me that you're worth that big break?
Well, we actually signed to a indie management group called Thermal Entertainment.
Okay.
Those are the guys that pulled us on, and they pretty much asked the same question. They've worked with several bands before. They've had uh, failed attempts to make the bands as good as they could possibly be.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but you really need a good team to work with to make these things happen. And they were kind of skeptical, about working with us or taking on another band. But we told them just like we would tell, any of the majors. If that's something that we were going for, we would, we're straightforward, we're honest people. We're hardworking people. We're not deserving of in the sense of just standing there with our hands out expecting. We're going to work for it. And I would say to you, whether you were going to take us or not, I would show you all of our figures. I'll show you our numbers. I'll show you our fans who are relentless. Some of the best. We call them our family. And then I would lay the paper right in front of you, and I would tell you, because our numbers don't lie. There's no cheat codes for statistics. Our numbers are completely truth, and I'd leave that decision in your hands, and I would let you know very firmly. I don't care whether you sign us or whether you don't, whether you accept this or you walk away at this moment, but you're gonna have to deal with us regardless. Whether we're on your team or you're trying to figure out how to get more fans at your band show that you did sign. Because we're not gonna stop. We're not gonna give up. We're not gonna slow down. Things are always gonna continue to grow for us. We're hardworking people. That's the American way. We're not going to give up on that. Stand true to ourselves and the people that back us.
Yeah, that that alone tells me that you guys have that drive and just I I as a fan wish you got nothing but the best as a entertainer myself, as a DJ and as a radio entertainer. From what I heard and saw with my eyes and heard with my ears, if a big label doesn't sign you, I would be totally shocked. To be,
Well, thank you.
you guys have it, and my definition of it is not traditional as it pertains to what mainstream it is. In my view, for you guys, what I observed is energy, very positive energy, mind you, very humble energy, and just drive, drive, foot to the gas, no relent in that foot to the gas until you continue to succeed. And you, in the 2 years that I've known you guys have really just, holy smokes, grown. It's like little kids going from a little toddler, going to their first day of kindergarten, to first day of junior high, to high school, to young adulthood, and now you're like right there, just not stuck, but just taking the steps in life so nicely that you guys are hitting the right path. And like I said, if a mainstream label doesn't take you guys on, like you said, it would be a shame because
Yeah,
I
it's
have
just their
no
competition at that point.
right, and it'd be their loss.
Well, luckily we have our management team that we're working with now, and believe it or not, their foot's even heavier than ours, and they're pushing the gas now. So they told us when we first pulled on with them, they were like, go ahead and put those seatbelts on because now it's life in the fast lane. So we're definitely moving with them. We couldn't be happier. They're some of the best people, man, and we're lucky to be working with a management team. And you're right. It would be crazy for a major to pass up, such a hard-working band, but they do it all the time. And what can I say? It's their own competition. That's all they're creating is competition.
Well, sometimes the competition gets swallowed up and eaten whole too. From a musical standpoint, I've seen a lot of bands in the mainstream in the last couple of years, and yeah, they're still considered big players and FM friendly, so to speak. But there's bands
Mhm.
now on that next wave, such as yours. This is just my opinion as a fan, as a listener of music and whatnot. Some of these mainstream bands have really fallen on their ass and gotten complacent. I'm eager to hear what you guys have coming with this new stuff because this early stuff that I got my ears on from you guys was great. And if this new stuff is better, oh my gosh, that's the best way I can describe it, you know?
it's it's going to be wonderful. We just got back a couple of samples from the production team, and we listened to some of the stuff that they had. And man, I have got to tell you, to be the first one to know about, like, we're bringing rock and roll back. There was a hot minute there where a lot of people were questioning where rock and roll stood in the music industry, and we're bringing it back.
Thank goodness.
We're looking good doing it.
Okay.
Free from the handcuffs, won't pass the chains. The answer's always very clear. When the guilty is to blame, I'm moving mountains. Oh, can't you see? I won't stop till you surrender. I won't stop until I'm free. The past, it will find you. Unveil your face of shame, haunting and reminding that the truth remains. Watch it all fall down around you now. One